Good evening, friends. Let us dive into new case law. Good evening, friends. Let us dive into another case law which is in the syllabus of Advocate on Court Examination. The case law is Union of India versus B. SRIHARAN alias Murugan and others, that is of 2015, also commonly known as Rajiv Gandhi Assassination case. It is a landmark judgment by the Constitutional Bench of the Supreme Court of India. It dealt with the powers of the president, governors, and judiciary concerning remission, commutation, and duration of life imprisonment sentences. Friends, background of the case is the case arose from the conviction of several individuals, including B. Sriharan, in the assassination of former Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi in 1991. The convicts were initially sentenced to death. However, the death sentence for some of them was commuted to life imprisonment due to delays in deciding their mercy petitions. Tamil Nadu government action. In 2014, Tamil Nadu government proposed to remit the life sentence of the convicts under Section 432 and Section 433 of the Criminal Procedure Code. The Union of India challenged this decision, arguing that such remission would require the union concurrence due to the nature of the offences, including those under central laws. Key constitutional and statutory provisions. Article 72 and Article 161 provides for the president's and governor's power to grant pardons, reprieves, respites, or remissions of punishment. Section 432, Section 433 of the CRPC deals with the remission and commutation of sentences by the appropriate government. Section 433A CRPC restricts the remission of life sentences for certain offences, requiring a minimum of 14 years imprisonment. So, friends, issues were remission of powers. Can a state government remit a sentence of life imprisonment imposed for offences under central laws without the union concurrence? Second, why to what extent can courts review decisions related to remission, computation, or clemency? Third was duration of life imprisonment. Does life imprisonment mean imprisonment for the remainder of the convict's natural life? So Supreme Court gave its observation. First observation was nature of life imprisonment. Life imprisonment means incarceration for the convict's natural life unless the sentence is commuted or remitted by the appropriate government. Concurrence power of the union and states. If the offences involve central laws, the Indian Penal Code, offences affecting national security, the state government cannot remit or compute the sentence without union concurrence. The appropriate government under Section 432 and 433 CRPC determined by the nature of the offence and the prosecuting authority. While the power of remission and computation are discretionary, they are subject to judicial review to prevent arbitrariness or abuse. Role of president and governors. Article 72 and Article 161 are independent of statutory provisions like Section 432 and 433 CRPC. However, their exercise must respect federal principles and not encroach on the powers of other constitutional authorities. Restrictions on remission. Section 433A CRPC mandates that life convicts serving sentence for certain offences must serve at least 14 years before being eligible for remission. So the judgment in this case was remission powers clarified. Honorable Supreme Court held that state government could not unilaterally remit or compute sentences in cases involving central laws or where the union is the prosecuting agency. Finality of life imprisonment. Life imprisonment means imprisonment for the convict entire natural life unless specifically commuted or remitted. Judicial safeguards. Decisions to grant remission or computation must adhere to constitutional principles and statutory limits and are subject to judicial review. So, friends, there was a lot of impact of the judgment. First one was on federal balance. The judgment ensured that federal principles are upheld in the exercise of remission power, requiring cooperation between the union and states in certain cases. Second was clarification of life sentences. By interpreting life imprisonment as a convict's natural life, the judgment clarified ambiguities, preventing premature or arbitrary releases. Limitation on states' power. The decision restricted states from using remission power in cases involving national security or central offenses without union approval. There was criticism of the judgment. Some legal experts argue that the judgment overly restricts state government's power under federal principle. The requirement of union concurrence in remission decision for central offenses could lead to delays and conflicts between governments. So, friends, nutshell conclusion of the judgment is the Union of India versus B. SRIHARAN judgment reaffirmed the sanctity of life imprisonment and established clear guidelines for remission and computation powers. By balancing federal principles with judicial oversight, the court ensured that these powers are exercised in a fair, non-arbitrary, and constitutionally sound manner. The case remains a cornerstone in the discourage on the balance between state autonomy and federal unity in India's legal system. That's all. God bless you all.